Howdy friends, and welcome again to thechefandthegrape.com. I am your host, Chef Christophe. I'm lucky enough to be here on location at Le Vieux in the Okanagan Valley, and I wanted to tell you about a very, very special wine that's coming from here. It's the Cuvee Violette. This is a Syrah that really, to me and to others, is among the best value Syrahs, under $30 Canadian. Truly extraordinary quality. I'm going to have the chance to interview Séverine, who is the winemaker since 2010, and talk to her a little bit about how this beautiful wine came to be. I'm lucky enough to be here now with Séverine. Séverine, thank you so much for making some time to be with me today.
Good morning.
Séverine, the Cuvée Violette, as I was saying before, it really is a special wine. And I was wondering if you could just tell me a little bit about how did this wine actually come to be? Because the Cuvée Violette is something new. I mean, you've been here since 2010.
That's correct,
yeah.
Yes.
And the Cuvée Violette is, well, it's your wine.
A little bit. So when I arrived in 2010 at the winery, I was just being new to the Okanagan and trying to really assess what kind of terroir we had. And in 2010 was a difficult growing season. It was the coldest in years in Canada. The acidity would never drop. So we made the wine, put it into barrels, aged it, and then when we did the blending, we did the Classique and the Equinox. But the next year, 2011, it was again a cool year, but in a different way. It was a lot more balanced, and the maturity happened a lot more evenly. And so everything got picked by hand and then fermented separately, means all the terroir separately in a tank.
Yes.
Different tanks, and then we aged in barrels, and then again all the terroir are kept separately. And then about maybe a year and a half later, in February 2013, we sat down and tasted all those Syrah. And one of the terroirs, two of the terroirs actually, the one from a little bit of north of here, like just at the foothill of the bluff, and the vineyard that we have here at Le Vieux right behind me. All the Syrah coming from those terroirs were just so elegant and flowery and silky, and it's like a painter that has all those palettes, the colors on the palette before they're going to paint their piece of art. They're just going to choose a little bit, and sometimes they're going to choose to dominate blue or dominate brown.
Yes.
and then not mix any other colors. And then I saw that this particular wine should stand on its own because it was too exceptional and too beautiful to be mixed with the Classique or the Equinox.
And tell me a little bit about what that was like for you, because you had come from the other side of the world.
Yeah, so
and you were all of a sudden finding yourself in the Okanagan Valley in two of the coldest vintages back to back that people can remember for, it's been
a long time.
Yeah. And so you're going through these really cold, wet summers where nothing's ripening. I mean, how did this feel for you coming from, where were you just before you came here?
So just before I came to Canada, I was working in the Languedoc region in the south near Montpellier. So I was growing Syrah and Grenache, and I never had that problem where it's not a problem. To me, when in 2010, 2011, when I arrived, it was a problem because I was used to a certain way of growing wines,
yes,
growing grapes and making wine. But now, 2010 was really a shock. I went into the vineyard and the acidity would never drop. We ended up peaking end of October or early November, some of those Syrah, and for me it was unheard of.
You were almost picking in the snow.
Exactly, and I was panicking. But after a year, and then I saw how the wine aged and everything, it came to something.
And let's dig into this Syrah Cuvée Violette 2014 vintage. And this is one of the things that I love so much about this wine is on the nose it really is violets. It's violets and perhaps a hint of rose and and plums and irises and cherries. It is gorgeous. And there's that fine saline minerality that strikes through it. There is a bit of crushed sea salt to it. And the palate is bright, brisk, lean, vibrant, so full of life, so full of verve. The acids are full. Red currant, black currant, young cherry, young raspberry. Quite well balanced though. Just a delight to enjoy on its own. Tannin structure is medium minus. Very fine, very soft, very elegant. Yeah. Concentration on the palate is very strong, matches the nose. It's just a world-class wine. So for not the first time, and probably not the last time, I score this 91 plus points, and at $28 Canadian, extraordinary value. Food pairing? You know what? A really good panini and a beautiful afternoon. I think that's all this wine really needs. And some great company. Right.
And then in 2011, when that cool year came again.
Yes.
But a bit, like I said, a bit more. It was less. The vines were less stressed out, and then we had less cold, like a bit more even in the cool side. It came to light, and then all the pieces came together in the puzzle, and that's how the Violette was born. Because it was just after a year, I had a bit of a better sense of where everything was and then how things were expressing themselves. We knew that the Golden Mile was a bit more austere and a bit more minerality. The Black Sitch Bench Souths were a bit more like savory, like the thyme, the rosemary, a bit more robust. Same for the South, but the North here, north of the South Okanagan, was a little bit more elegant, a little bit more flowery, silky. And really for me to do that Syrah Cuvée Violette was just, I tend to describe the wines with my feelings, and when I see the Cuvée Violette, when I make it, I see this elegant woman walking down like the fashion show, and then wearing like really elegant clothes and very that everything flows and it is nothing disturbing, and it's exactly what I feel in my mouth when I drink it. And that's why I wanted to isolate it, and then that's how Cuvée Violette was born, like that.
Well, it sounds like the terroir gave you a real gift.
It did, and that's why I'm really, really thankful to be working here at Le Vieux and being able to experiment out. We have 5 different vineyards scattered all over the South Okanagan, and for me, it is a lot more work than having everything in one estate, in one spot.
Yeah.
But it gives us the opportunity to work with different terroirs and experiment what every single variety can give with different soils, and it's amazing.
How beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And so at the end of this, I am reminded that it is terroir that makes wine great. But great terroir is not enough to make truly world-class wine. It takes a truly dedicated winemaker as well. Le Vieux is lucky enough to have both of these allies towards crafting world-class wine. They have a very unique terroir, and they have a winemaker who was skilled enough, passionate enough, curious enough to learn how that terroir wants to express itself. I hope you look for the Cuvée Violette in your local market, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I.